beloved Creator of all that is, giver of life, and to the Creator within each of us. We thank you for the I am, and we thank you for all of us here and present. Many of us have lost loved ones to this vibrational reality, and though their spirit is still alive in our awareness, we honor them. The very idea of limitation, loss, and death has been woven into our psyches by the very death cult we are up against. This idea of limitation integration is like a drumbeat from everywhere we look and in all that we do. If we haven't yet, it is time to think of how much of us, how much of our thought of self we have to give up of that cloth we are, is the challenge. What do we cling to? What is our true identity? Is our world, are we frail, limited, vulnerable? The answer is only if we think so. It's the idea of loss and lack. The only thing that is limited is our thinking, a notion. So when we stand on the shoreline, looking out at the vastness of the ocean, consider the abundance of the drops of water it contains and the grains of sand under our feet as a metaphor for the limitlessness and abundance of all that is. And consider there is no lack, but that which we have been trained to accept as true and thus believe, a false premise we operate from. Thank you, Creator within and in all that is, for our greatness, our abundance, the vastness of ideas we can at any second of our existence pluck from the vastness of consciousness and utilize or become. The only limitation comes from our accepting a notion, while the vastness of our I am knows no bounds. And so it is.
Thank you, Charlie.
Amen.
Thank you, Charlie.
Amen.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. I have a page to read. It's not real black, not hard, but it's at that size type that you can't wear your glasses and you can't not wear your glasses. And you got to have as much light as you can possibly get when you got eyes that are like mine. That isn't going to help either. We'll see how this turns out. You either have it or you don't. So it is defined as that which is recognizable to others that possess it, when one with it sees it in another. The mindset of possessing it, the I am, as a man or a woman, a sovereign, Oregonian, without ruler or subject, to go along with the paperwork. The job's not finished till the paperwork's finished. When you make a claim, or rather when we make a claim, we support it. Frequently with incontrovertible evidence filed and published at www.orsja.org. When you put it to a Brit, a Scot, Irish, or Welsh, or that bunch, Shetland Islands, all the islands there, even the lowlands, the Netherlands, and the Norwegians, Swedes, and Danes, that whole bunch, they all acknowledge the hierarchy of the monarch. They may have hopes and aspirations. However, if those folks are here and have not corrected their status, then they're still a subject of Charles, similar to Anons. They're not accountable. They have no skin in the game. They can catch a ride out of here and go home or to some other place. So, All of us have now identified it. It is a mindset of a de jure man or woman on the land and soil, water and air, without ruler or subjects. One of the people that is supported by a living testimony in the form of an affidavit of truth with two signatures witnessing for starters. Where were your biological parents born? An example. 44 has no incontrovertible evidence to support the claim. Kamala is an anchor baby, a natural born citizen of where her parents were born. Just like Shiva, Rubio, Cruz, and others. To have unalienable rights on Oregon or any other of the several states, Commonwealth, or territory, one must have a de jure path to the unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, the Confederation and Perpetual Unions with an apostrophe S articles, one of which is the United States of America's apostrophe S Constitution circa 1859. Another is Oregon's apostrophe S Constitution circa 1859. There are 33 other several states. The 32nd state is Minnesota. A quorum of 33 states is a Congress assembled. And then contemplate electoral college from the Constitution. When those conditions are fulfilled, as the provisional government of the United States of America's Confederation and Perpetual Unions unanimous declaration of the 13 United States of America, coupled with our state's constitution circa 1859, there is where we find original jurisdiction, or de jure constitutional republican form of government, guaranteed to all of us. See De facto and de jure, Black's Law, 6th edition, page 416. It's also published on www.orsja.org. Provenance. Provide your chain of custody. Show me your oath and bond. Where are your bona fides? Not one sheriff on Oregon can meet their obligation to hold a position of trust with a proper oath to the proper constitutions, with God included. That's a shame for all of us. Each one of the several states is or are will be required to provide their bona fides in our upcoming constitutional Republican form of government this year, 2023. That is a requirement to meet in a Congress assembled and reconstitute original jurisdiction. Now read up on the Constitutional Electoral College, because we have that to do also. A caveat here. Republican form of government is not the GOP Republican. It's not a party. There are no constitutionally correct parties. One way is for 5 people to meet in an Amendment 1 assembly. Most people understand that as First Amendment, a right to assemble. And the First Amendment petition for redress of grievance. You follow that by Article 1, Section 1, and that's from Oregon's Constitution. Natural rights inherent in people, we declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are found on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness. And they have at all times the right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. And this is what we thought proper and did on Oregon. Form a jury pool. Form a jural assembly from your social compact. I just read it to you. Form a civilian court of record. Implement ex parte Milligan, nullifying martial law /Libre Code /FEMA. Establish your bona fides with the U.S. DOJ, FBI, U.S. Marshal Service, U.S. Marine Corps, your state, commonwealth, or territory has a de facto governance, and it's operated by a subdivision of the state of Oregon or other, is a subdivision of the United States of Washington District of Columbia, Inc., with forts, ports, armories, and needful buildings. It's operated by an industrial, military, executive, legislative, judicial, administrative, banker, Federal Reserve note, bar, Nazi, Jesuit, Khazarian, jihadist, communist, UN, big pharma, medical de facto, color of law, RICO society that should not be. So, we, all of us, in our social compact, are the de jure provisional government on Oregon and took them lawfully out on Oregon. November 2022. Possession by pirates does not change ownership. Each of the other 32 states and 17 territories will need to provide their bona fides. So if you show up at Philadelphia, you better have your shit together. What took us 4.5 years to do can be duplicated in 30 days by 5 people investing 15 hours, $60 for postage, and $45 for a seal, with all documents filed, signed, sealed, stamped, witnessed with proof of service. Wait 30 days for the de facto to rebut, acquiesce, and default in their law form. It takes 7, 14, and 21 days in de jure common law to acquiesce and default 3 times. So, there you have it. Do you really have it? Or do you have a substitute for it? When you have it, you know it. And you will support it and uphold it and defend it and enforce it in a proper manner. And those who know it will support good and reject evil as a sovereign should. And I yield.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. Then he jumps out of the car, and he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, "Just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me." And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.